Hello. How you doing,
Hello.
mate?
I'm good. I'm good. We're back at
Cool.
it. Feels like
Yeah.
a little bit of time has passed, but
Yeah.
busy lives. What can
But
I say?
yeah, exactly. But this is an interesting episode because this is one of the first things we talked about sort of wanting to do on the
Yeah,
podcast, wasn't it? This
yeah.
whole
I think this
idea.
was sort of almost originally because we were going to do a podcast years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think this was almost the thing that we thought, okay, a lot of people were not having mixed feelings on this, and we are.
Yeah. Is there
So we want
something
to put
weird?
our yeah, and we want to put our opinions out there, but we never did it, and here
Yeah.
we are.
And now
So we're doing it.
it's been 2 years since this film, and this
Yeah,
episode is around the MCU sort of post Endgame. Just a
yeah,
bit, give a bit of history. I think after, not straight after Endgame, but like maybe a couple months after, we were having this conversation of, I reckon the MCU is going to run out of steam. They've risen the bar so high. They've had
yeah,
such an amazing um cinematic spectacle with the crossovers. How can they possibly top it? And I think, uh, with the exception of a couple of sort of smaller projects, the one big film that united a lot of people and was going to match Endgame was Spider-Man: No Way Home. However,
yeah,
it is a film controversially that we think is overrated.
yeah.
I know everyone's about to like
Majorly overrated. I'm sorry,
shout at
guys.
us. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
sorry.
it's hard actually because I I think initially just felt after leaving that cinema with you because initially I think we both did love it, but I remember saying to you after the cinema, I was just like, because you're asking, oh, what do you think and stuff about the film? Oh, I'm talking about all like our favorite bits and stuff. I was like, yeah, 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 it was good, but like, I mean,
Wasted.
it wasn't amazing, for 20 years of Spider-Man footage, it
Yeah.
didn't like it sort of hit the bar, but it didn't surpass anything for me,
I mean,
and we
one
should probably
thing, one
expand on it,
thing,
yeah.
yeah, one thing I want to say first of all is that, obviously with the I mean, it's releasing on Friday, but the upcoming Spider-Verse
Mm,
trilogy, I mean, we've got the second installment this weekend. Um, that is a trilogy dedicated to the Spider-Verse. And I feel like this was almost, I don't know the word, but
mate, it was a
sort of,
shell. It was like a shell of
yeah,
the
and it was claiming
Spider-Verse.
off the back of that.
It was
Um,
so obvious that we're like, oh, the Spider-Verse did amazing with all the
yeah,
crossovers. We'll put it into live
yeah.
action, and yeah, we just
But one thing though is that it shouldn't have been solely a Spider-Verse movie. It should have been Tom Holland's third Spider-Man film,
his
not a
yeah,
oh, it's Tobey Maguire, it's Andrew Garfield. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's great.
no,
I'm all for that if it's done right. And in my
that's it.
opinion, it was done poorly. It wasn't done wrong, I don't think, but it was done poorly.
Well, yeah, this is the idea that with the incorporation of the other Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, that is something as fans that we all wanted to see. That's why it was amazing to
Yeah,
see them after 20 years. And yeah, I agree, Joe. I think it was amazing to see them, and I really enjoyed watching them be Spider-Man again and seeing them all
yeah,
interact with each other, and
yeah,
that was fantastic. But I wrote, where was the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man? Like,
yeah,
even to the point where in the original Raimi films and Garfield films, you have such iconic visuals of Spider-Man swinging through New York City, through like skyscrapers,
yeah, yeah.
and Tom
Mm.
Holland has not done that once. And I don't know if it's to do with this idea that he's basically been Iron Boy Jr. in his whole trilogies, and
Oh,
now, so,
careful.
yeah, well,
You're gonna get people
Tom
on you
Holland
for
said
that.
that. Tom Holland said that like with
Oh
the
yeah.
fans and stuff, he felt like that. So I think the whole idea was
Yeah.
like this trilogy was like an origin, and that the next trilogy is him becoming Spider-Man. Now that he's got his own suit and stuff, I really like where the characters ended. I just want to see that film now. And,
Yeah, do you know what? I feel like the it- this is I don't know how to put it, but with the MCU, obviously up until Civil War, we had quite a core cast of characters having their sequels, in and out of each other's films. And then they introduced Spider-Man into it. And that kind of felt like a new beginning in the beginning, a
Mm.
new beginning for the MCU in a sense. Um but I just feel from the get-go they fumbled it slightly, making it like an Iron Man like
Apprentice.
prodigy, and
Yeah.
like it shouldn't have been. I know that obviously we don't need another origin story, but like uh, have other ways. Like the fact that there's no Norman Osborn in this universe, and there's no Harry Osborn, and there's no Eddie Brock that we know of, and it's like they're using characters from other universe, like Green Goblin. This Spider-Man's Green Goblin is another Spider-Man's Green Goblin. It's
Yeah.
like shared villa. It's weird.
I
I
do
don't
get
get
what you
it.
mean. It was the whole idea with the studios, with all the Spider-Man properties. Obviously, Sony own them all, and it's this idea
Mm,
that each character's intellectual property, which you bring over, will cost probably a certain amount of money. So it makes sense only having a deal for Spider-Man and trying to like shoehorn him into this universe. But I 100% get what you mean because it loses the heart of what the original films had, where you didn't need an overarching universe because the Spider-Man universe or the Spideyverse was so rich with its
yeah.
characters and stuff. And you get MJ and you get Ned and uh, a sort of like a few nods to different characters, but like even the use of J. Jonah Jameson, for example, in No Way Home, it was amazing to see um him again, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
served
But
nothing in this story. Like,
no, no. I mean, to be honest, it's been a while since I've seen it. I should have probably watched it beforehand. But for me, I remember us seeing it at the cinema with Sam,
mm,
obviously. Hello, Sam,
little
if you're
shout out.
listening. I remember us coming out and walking to the escalator and going, yeah, yeah, yeah. And we got to the top of the escalator, and I remember you going, "Oh, I'm not sure." And
Yeah,
and then suddenly I was like, "Oh no, neither am
yeah.
I."
Do you know what it was? I think you heard what you kind of didn't want me to say because I think
Yeah,
once
yeah,
I
yeah,
confirmed maybe because like the whole idea was like there were like points where you were emotionally connected. Aunt May's death, it was like tragic. I mean, the first time I didn't
yeah,
get
yeah,
emotional over it, I won't lie, just because I think like um I don't know with her whole character, for example, she sort of has been on the sidelines a bit, but sort of Aunt May is always like a bit of a. It's like she's not a massive part in the
yeah.
Spider films.
She's secondary. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
and she's the third Aunt May we've had, so it was hard,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah,
And they did something
and
different with her. They
oh
did
yeah,
something
no,
different. So
100%. I really enjoyed that part of it, and I'm glad she took
yeah,
Uncle Ben's role.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Look, there are. Look, before we started this, we did say obviously we don't want to be just
oh
entirely
yeah,
negative.
yeah,
Um, and there are things about this that I really enjoy. The whole, like you said, Aunt May taking the Uncle Ben moniker
she served the
almost.
story. She served the story
Yeah,
completely. Yeah, helped him become
yeah.
Spider-Man. Uh,
Um, the interactions between the different characters that are from different universes. But then, do you know what? I think it's a curse in itself, right? Because thinking back to it, the only real sort of dialogue heavy interactions we have between the three Spider-Men is in one room in
like
that
two. There's
lab.
yeah, there's lamp and then there's scaffolding,
Oh
and
yeah, then the scaffolding.
I know, like there's an idea of like you
Like
can't have too much of a good feeling. You should try and tease it
no,
out,
but
but the whole film could have like centered on their dynamic and them being a team,
yeah,
almost like a mini Avengers film. And I
they
think,
should have been brought in a
yeah,
lot earlier in the story. A
that
lot earlier.
idea. It could have been like a mid-central battle with
Yeah.
Spider-Man being completely outnumbered by the Sinister
Yeah.
Five,
Yeah.
for God's sake. I don't know why they
Oh
didn't throw
yeah, the
Venom in,
Sinister
for
Five.
God's sake. But
Yeah.
like, if you did it in the middle and Tom Holland's about to get like beat up, like doing that bit where Aunt May dies, if you had to, that's how it actually did happen. But at that point, Spider-Man could have interjected,
Or
like been
even,
like hidden and masked and like
yeah, or even like Andrew comes in and then like in this, all right, the first act is Tom, the second act is uh the fight in the apartment building, and then Andrew comes in to help. And then the third act is the Statue of Liberty, where then Toby comes in. So at
the
least you get one of them, and then it's sort of like almost how they released in reverse
yeah.
in a
Do you know what it
way.
is? It would have been like they could have been introduced the way that all the Avengers were introduced in Endgame with the portals, because they went on that portals trope again. But it
Yeah,
was in, I guess it's different because it was in a bit of a more like neutral setting, and it was like we need to find him and stuff. It was like, oh, he's probably does he go anywhere when he's stressed? Oh yeah, we know,
yeah,
we know exactly where he is. We'll just portal there. Everything was
yeah,
so convenient. And another point I made was that the pacing was completely off. Like I get with these films, you've got to jam pack a lot in, and there's a lot of deleted scenes and
yeah.
stuff.
The pacing was weird. I mean, the fact that they deleted a scene between the Green Goblin and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is just
Yeah, you see that
it's just
image of Toby on the
ridiculous.
glide. I know because they didn't really interact
No, there's
properly.
footage of it. I've seen footage of it now.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, yeah. And
That's mad.
like,
Send that to me.
that's another thing, right? Say that again.
Send that to me.
I will. But the way their suit looks as well,
Yeah. You know, like there was
they
this whole
just
thing of
like
he said he's acquired a couple of upgrades, and I thought this whole idea is that he broke into Stark Industries and took all this like um equipment and stuff. But I want to see that part. You know, like there's a bit in the Spider-Man video game where the Sinister Six get released, and the idea is that Spider-Man has to fight like Electro and Vulture at the same time. You have three Spider-Man that could have had like almost like separate battles. I know that's quite hard to like show in a film. Obviously, in a video game, it's easier.
yeah,
But then like they could have split up and taken two villains at once. And you know what, mate? I think there is one massive issue here, which I think is it was the cause of the curse initially, the Marvel curse. Um, and I believe it's to do with, unfortunately, the pandemic just affecting filmmaking because the
mm,
entire time they were on set, they had to follow all the regulations. Obviously, it was deep COVID. I think it was like February. Was it even 2020? I think February 2020 when the no February 21 maybe. I know it was February something. It was still height of COVID.
yeah. I think
Uh,
it must have been 2020
Yeah,
around
yeah.
then.
Which is like it's insane that they were making a film. I'm really glad they did though because we needed
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Definitely
We're
needed it.
lucky to get anything.
Yeah,
Full stop.
exactly. But there was a price. Like it's just it what it lacks is you take that fight on the bridge, for example, with Doc Ock and Spider-Man, which was
Yeah,
amazing just to see them both battle it out. There is no public members there anymore. There is no
yeah.
stakes because there can't be any extras.
There's one woman in a
Yeah,
car.
yeah, and there's like a kid in the car,
Yeah,
and they just composited a load of people in through like
that's
CG,
what.
which
Yeah, that's
like
what
Flash.
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. I always and I think it's been said before, but I feel like with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, and a lot of people say that this is a detriment to it, but I kind of love it because it is comic book like.
Mm,
Is where the New York settings look almost fake and like it's a single box of New York. Like this street is a facade. Obviously it is, but it looks like it. And I
like
think it's
backdrops.
intentional because yeah, because Sam Raimi's sort of style of filmmaking is very back to not back to basics, but like rustic in a sense.
Mm,
Um and I feel like that sort of translates here, but in the worst way possible. Like there's even though with Sam Raimi's filmmaking, you'll go back and watch Spider-Man 1 and or Spider-Man 2 actually is a good example with Doc Ock when he's climbing the buildings after the bank robbery and you've got like people screaming in their offices and you hear like rumbles and in this
yeah.
one in No Way Home it's just like oh okay right here he is oh he's throwing cars okay it's over and it's just
Oh, mate,
it
you know what
relates
it?
back
Yeah.
to what we were talking about the other the other episode with Guardians, not with Guardians 3, with like, and obviously we'll expand on this with Phase 4, but it goes back to the filmmaking thing. And I just feel like this wasn't the movie they were going to make, and I feel like it
Yeah,
was a movie they made off of the back of. I don't know. This is completely speculation and speculative, but I feel like it is a movie they've made off the back of the success of Spider Verse. Um,
I
look,
think it's fair to say
who
that,
knows?
and I don't think it's
Yeah,
a necessarily a bad thing. Like, of course, people want to see live
no,
action, multiversal stories, but the whole idea was like, so the Infinity Saga, which it never was called initially, it was just that was the cohesive part that glued it together. When I
yeah,
said that
yeah,
the MCU would run out of steam, I was like, what have they got left now to make this overarching universe connect with all these different films? And then the multiverse came out, and I got so excited because we
yeah.
talked about. I mean, we could like even like talk about it for a bit, but the whole idea of the whole hype around Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, it was so
Yeah, I was just
mad.
thinking
Like
that.
they put the trailer at the end of Spider-Man, and then after that, I was watching it, and I was like, oh my God, I know that Professor X is in the trailer. How many of these Golden Age cameos like Tobey Maguire are we gonna get? We're gonna get Ghost Rider, we're gonna get Blade,
Yeah,
we're gonna get all these like different universes and jumping around. And it sucked.
yeah.
It all
Well,
just fell flat.
do you know what? Do you know what? It's a bit controversial. I do enjoy Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, mainly just because of its horror elements and
And Sam
how
Raimi, it was in
it's
safe
Sam Raimi's
hands.
direction. Um, but I see a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you shouldn't hate on Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness because it's not the multiverse film you wanted. It's a Doctor Strange film. Yeah, it is a Doctor Strange film. It's got Doctor Strange in the title. It wasn't marketed like that though. So don't lie to yourself
Yeah,
because
that's it. That's it.
it was marketed. I mean, the sting at the end of the trailer was hearing Professor X's voice. Like it's called In the Multiverse of Madness. You're not really going to see it for Doctor Strange, are you? Come on.
You know what, mate?
Like,
You are onto a point there, and I think what it is that since Endgame, we just all get greedy and we want all these
yeah,
crossovers. We
yeah.
want dessert, but
All I
we
want
build into it.
from it is
A Doctor
a good
Strange
set of
film.
characters and a good film, a good story, which
Yeah,
Guardians of Free gave, and also talking of Phase 4, because obviously I think with No Way Home, I've said mostly what I want to say about it, and I'll expand a bit more on it. But I think out of Phase 4, the only really the projects that give me that of good characters and a solid story is I'm looking through the list you sent me. It's just not
yeah. You're
many.
like, I was like, what's he gonna
Um,
say?
Shang-Chi, I'd say.
Yes, I agree.
Um, and there was another one that I thought of, and it's gone.
Well,
Oh well.
I think the other film that really stood to testament was Black Panther, considering
Oh
what had
yes,
happened. Yeah,
yes. I have watched that now since
yeah.
Guardians 3.
Oh,
It's
good.
very good. Yeah. I mean, they treat everything so respectfully. So that
Yeah,
was,
yeah. I,
Um, but if we just quickly go through this list though
this
of
includes TV. So what
Phase
he's
4.
referring to is a list of the Phase 4 Marvel projects. So what I put in is all the
Yes.
TV shows, films, and like specials. So like the werewolf holidays, not holiday special, werewolf Halloween special, and the Guardians
Yeah.
holidays
Which I thought
special.
was incredible.
I
I
never
won't
saw
lie.
it. I never saw it.
Did you not? You need to see it. On it, like
I'll
really, you need to see it. It's really good.
I'll wait
Really good.
till
Very violent for a
yeah.
Marvel.
You know what? I am one of these fans that I do like to see everything. So the fact that I skipped something does hurt a little bit, but I'll get to it at some point.
Look, I skipped Falcon and the Winter
You
Soldier,
skip,
so
yeah.
I
Well,
watched one episode of it.
well, that's the thing. I think we could go through these categorically, but everyone has, at the end of the day, their own opinions and like connections to these characters. Falcon, for example, I watched it twice, the series, because I really think it depends on who you
Really?
watch it with. Yeah, I watched it on my own, I think.
Oh, and then you
But
watched it with your dad, didn't you, or
no,
something?
I watched it with my cousin, who's like just a casual
Oh,
Marvel fan. Not even that big of a Marvel fan. He didn't watch Infinity War when it came out, but
Damn.
maybe like a couple years later,
Damn.
they got Disney. Do
Wow.
you know what happened? They got Disney Plus in the pandemic. So like, let's just watch the Marvel
Yeah, just
films and
bang them out.
get
Yeah.
into it. Yeah, yeah. So you know what? When you watch a Marvel project with a casual Marvel fan, they're the best people to gauge whether the film hits the spot or not. Because, like I said, we all get sort of encapsulated by the endgame hype and that bar that it raised and all these interconnected
Yeah.
webs that you want to get from films. But for
Okay.
example, like
Webs. Wait.
yeah, like but like you said, like Shang-Chi just it holds up on its own as like a film that's a bit fun with action and sort of
Yeah.
got like a Jackie Chan type of vibe to
Yeah.
it with the martial
Yeah.
arts. Like, I enjoyed Shang-Chi as well. It didn't have to connect massively. It's just that it was I think people were these all these projects on the list are being assessed with this Marvel curse criteria because of
Yeah.
Endgame
Yeah.
raising the bar
I
high.
think, yeah, what you saying about putting the raising the bar, I think they try and do it every time. And it just and that causes this Marvel curse, I feel. And I think the Marvel curse is Endgame
That's yeah. I was going to
because
ask you, what do you think it is? Do you
I
think
think it's Endgame because they oh, I can't think of another way of saying it, and I don't want to say it the way I've got in my head. Um, they oh, how do I say this? Fuck it, they blew their load with Endgame too quickly, way too quickly,
yeah?
and now they've got nothing. You know, I mean, look, well, I say
Thing is,
nothing. That's bullshit, but
I think it's hard to
it's
say that. Yeah, go on.
yeah. I think it's like with No Way Home. You know, they're raising the bar again. We've got old Spider-Man coming back. With I'm just going through the list now. With One Division. Oh my god, look, it's Quicksilver from the Fox universe. Oh, it's not. With Loki season one. Oh, okay, Loki's back. It's a Loki TV show. Um, Kang, like Kang's here now. Um,
Big
and
bad. Yeah.
I'm just going through them now. And then there was just a sort of run of pretty shitty things. Um, and you know what? It might just be the fact that I've grown out of it slightly, but I think that's bullshit, really. Because I think with Endgame, I remember saying to you possibly after Endgame, I'm kind of like not done with it, but like I don't see my interest and enjoyment expanding beyond it. And I don't think it did much, to be honest. Because the characters that I'd grown up with, well, I say grown up, well, yeah, I was 8 years old when Iron Man came out. So the characters that I'd grown up with were gone. Like I didn't care about the new characters.
Yeah,
So,
I get what
you
you
know,
mean. It's like, I mean, just to go back on your point with like with Endgame being cursed, I do agree with the bar being raised high, but at the same time, I want the bar to be risen high. I'm sure you don't regret seeing
no,
Endgame.
yeah,
I watched it the other day. I watched it the other day, and it's still just like it's it and Infinity War together are a masterpiece, I believe,
yeah.
of
Look,
culminating the whole MCU. Yeah,
I agree that obviously I want the bar to be risen every time, but I want it to be risen and not tripped over and they fall flat on their face. And
yeah.
not that it's happened every time. Like with Hawkeye, they're not raising the bar with Hawkeye, the TV show. I enjoyed Hawkeye because it was its own thing. I
It
mean,
was
obviously you
Christmas
got
themed, and
Kingpin
it was
in it,
yeah.
but like it wasn't so much like, oh my god, it's the new big bad. It's just like, all right, Kingpin's in it. It wasn't. I mean, it was a little bit
Mm,
of a reveal, but it wasn't this major thing. And I
yeah,
think it goes back as well to what we said in the Guardians thing, which I won't dwell on because we've said pretty much what we wanted to say about it. But with Kang, and with Endgame being the curse, I feel like, you know, I think in Infinity War is better than Endgame, but I don't think you can judge them separately. They have to be judged together because there it's a it's two-parter. It's definitely Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, basically.
So I
Um,
think this entire sorry to interrupt, I think with the
that's fine.
curse,
Yeah.
I think it's to do with the fact that we have movies and TV shows put together, and they're trying to
Okay.
both almost like have the same sort of like level. But I just we had this conversation, me and Joe, about the opening crawl of the Marvel credits and hearing that theme tune. And back in the day,
Yeah.
you would be so high. Every time I sit in the cinema and watch a Marvel film, I'd see it, I'd hear it, and I'd have this excitement of like, this is the first time I'm watching this Marvel film. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm so excited. Now, every time I hear the music, I think it sounds so cheesy and I hate it. And I've just heard it too many times because they've done what um they've basically taken such a special moment from a film and they've shoehorned it into their TV shows, but their TV shows still were like they were it was quality it was quantity over quality. It was every 6 weeks you were getting something.
Yeah.
And it started off strong. WandaVision, I liked Falcon, I liked Loki. Um and then it was just sort of getting to the stage of like, I feel like I need to watch this to understand what will go on in the big films when stuff eventually crosses over. Because with these projects, they aren't interconnected because they're more like of a comic vibe where they're all individual like comic book films, which isn't
Yeah.
necessarily bad. But I just feel like there was it,
Overexposure.
yeah, how can you have a phase with movies and TV shows? It doesn't make sense because it's not
Stick
accessible
to
to
one.
everyone,
Yeah.
and it's like you
And then
can't.
you've got a series called like What If, where it
Yeah,
doesn't link at all,
yeah.
really.
That is the inconsistency of this. It doesn't matter that they're not interconnected, like story wise, on a level of like, oh, they don't all mention the multiverse or stuff like that. That's fine. It's just the format of it is really weird, and
Yeah.
it's like Moon Knight could have been a film. Like uh,
Yeah.
Miss Marvel could have been a film. Like
Yeah. I
who
feel
gets to
like they
decide? Like
they don't I don't know. I heard this story that Kevin Feige went to his like private lodge and come up with the next 10 years of Marvel.
retreat, yeah, that retreat that
Yeah,
they
and I
had.
was just and now and at the time I was like, right, okay, fine, but like I feel like that was maybe 2 years ago. But this plan just feels like it's already fallen apart. Um, and I
Yeah.
know, look, I don't give a shit, but I know a lot of fans will tell you, no, 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 stick with it. Kang's this new big bad. Kang is a fucking idiot who got defeated by a big head and some ants.
I did like I like
I'm sorry.
I actually on first view and I didn't deep Ant-Man. I sort of had the same thing that you had with Spider-Man, but I think I was just like enjoying the film on its own.
Yeah. Oh
But
mate, honestly. But do you know
you
what?
hated
I had it.
it.
Yeah, I hated it. Like I actually, it felt like Spy Kids. And I know you. Like,
Spy Kid
I'm not going
slaps.
in on Spy Kids. I know, but when you're watching a Marvel film in 2023 and it
Hmm.
looks, feels, and acts like Spy Kids, then there's a problem,
People
guys. There's
compared
a
it to
fucking
the
problem.
it's like blue screen acting with the Star Wars prequels where the actors just don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Like the amount of scenes
yeah,
where you're just flying obligatory microorganism across the valley of the quantum realm, which completely
yeah,
changed from what it was from the initial films, and like we just
yeah,
accept that there's this whole universe. What's been really good, it comes back to this point of like casual fans. I I like stopped watching Marvel films with my mum and dad, which sounds really sad because it was something we would always connect to. My dad, he watched TV shows with me, um, but yeah, no, you know what? We watched the TV shows together. We kind of liked those, but the films, my mum couldn't get through Thor: Love and Thunder. She couldn't get through
don't
Ant-Man.
blame her.
She couldn't get through Doctor Strange. Our Disney Plus, you'll just see loads of Marvel films
Yeah,
halfway through,
continue
and
watching.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, and they won't get finished.
maybe that's the curse. The curse is continue watching because you
Yeah,
don't want
yeah.
to fucking watch it.
It's that's the
You know
fact,
what?
isn't it? Yeah,
I think like I've just thought about it sort of while you I was listening, but it just
yeah,
popped in my head. And I think the way I want to describe Marvel since, or the MCU, sorry, since Endgame is overstuffed yet hollow.
yeah.
It feels that there's so much being thrown at us, but it's so empty.
It's like
It's
getting
like,
all the action figures and throwing them about and just say, oh, if they see
yeah,
Quicksilver from the
yeah,
X-Men universe, they'll love him in one division. But he
no.
doesn't serve the story. Do they all serve the story?
It's
No.
hooking you in
Yeah.
to just drop the line. They don't. It's such a weird method. I don't get it. And then like even in Doctor Strange in Multiverse of and look, I'm not one to sort of care about like I said, I'd rather have characters and story like Guardians 3, um, or well, not Wonder Vision, Wakanda Forever. Sorry, but but uh, when they when they do something like that with Quicksilver in One Division and its name is Ralph Boner, it is nothing to do with it. Or in Multiverse of Madness, you've got the Illuminati or whatever they're called. I think they are the Illuminati in that, aren't they? Pretty sure. Anyway, um,
Yeah,
and
they
then they
are.
all get killed off, and it's like it is that sort of thing. Like they're teasing, and it's like, well, why? Like just you
Yeah.
have this that you have these resources to make great stories. You have decades of comic books and storylines from so many amazing storytellers, and you're giving this shit, and I
It's,
don't get it.
do you know what it
Like I'm
is?
not. I'm actually going to go off because uh, the first 10 years of Marvel were peak, and I know even you say not you, but I'm talking to you, the listener. But no,
Yeah.
in general, people are saying like oh, but what about Thor: The Dark World and this and that and the
But
first Captain America, whatever. They are honestly the best things compared to some of these. On like Thor: Love and Thunder is one of, if not the worst experience I've ever had at the cinema.
I think you still got
I
the goat's noises stuck in your head, haven't you?
honestly, I just, I'm saying I won't go into it, but I guess that's why
Go
we're
into
here
it, man. Go into it.
because it's just one thing that it really gets me is the CGI,
Oh
and
yeah.
that just brings me out of something like that instantly. I'm like, nah, I'm done with this.
Do you
Because
know
how
what's
can you make something? Go on, sorry, say
it's
again.
funny like you say that because what I have the distinction of being brought out of it. The reason why that's happened is after watching The Boys on Amazon Prime and seeing like the whole nonsensical nature of superhero films and how they're shot and they just have like
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
stories and like the CGI is lacking. It just felt like, for example, Quantum Mania was just a parody of an Ant-Man film.
yeah, yeah. And look, as well, I don't want it to seem like I'm just railing on the whole of Phase 4 because I'm not. Because we've got something like Wakanda Forever
Yeah.
and Shang-Chi, even
Spider-Man
What
to an
If, I
extent.
did
Yeah,
enjoy What If.
like yeah,
And
yeah.
Spider-Man
Yeah, yeah.
to an extent, and One Division to an extent
And
again.
I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and like I think
Yeah,
I
I mean,
like parts
I need to see it,
of all these parts. Like Moon Knight, you
but
really liked, didn't you?
yeah, Moon Knight was I mean, yeah, yeah. But again, I just overstuffed and
That's
hollow.
what it is, because we barely even mentioned it this episode, but it's just like
Yeah,
it's just fell under the cracks because there's just so
just
much.
empty.
Yeah,
I can't remember an iconic moment from any of it.
that's what it is.
Any
That's
of
what
it.
those films hook you on. It's like as soon as you stopped watching Avengers Infinity War, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to rewatch for Enter
Yeah,
Wakanda because the CGI was it's not just the CGI, it was the emotional stakes in
yeah,
Thor coming to save them all, topped with the CGI of the lightning coming out of his eyes and the axe and the music. Like all the components came together, and that was the result of not only all the people behind the scenes, but a good directorial lead with the Russo brothers. But
Yeah,
with these
yeah.
projects, they've got returning directors like Taika Waititi and Jonathan Watts for the franchises that are returning. But it, it's interesting. A lot of the TV shows have directors that have only really done like indie films before, and I'm not against using new directors at all because I think it's important to
No.
platform them and give other people a shot with these characters. But the question
Well, they
lies
like
with,
using it. They like using indie directors because they can just boss them around.
yeah, but that's the thing. It's like when you don't have a cohesive story, or it's really hard to like diagnose what the particular issue is because, for
Yeah,
example, Chloe
yeah.
Zhao is an Oscar-winning director. So when I heard that she
Excellent
was doing
director.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, when I heard that she was doing Eternals and Eternals had a star-studded cast, I was like, okay, I'm ready for like a next like type of franchise like the
It
X-Men.
was just boring.
That's what it was. My dad watched it. He was just like, "What?" Like, but he had to like watch it
Yeah.
over 2 days. He was just like, "I wouldn't
It
watch
was the
that again."
cinematic equivalent of Sawdust.
Right. So
Yes.
this wrapped up our sort of evaluation of the Marvel cast, but now comes the fun part.
Yeah. We have some awards to give out to the MCU Phase 4.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
are there are version of the Oscars of
Yes, this is the We've Got
2023.
Nothing Left Awards.
Yeah, woo! We're still working
Woo.
on the name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the theme
We
song.
could call them the Jackashes,
The
or that might
Jackass Awards, yeah. The Jackass.
the
Oh yeah,
Jackash for Best
instead
Actor.
of the Oscar. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
Jackash
Yeah, the
goes to
Jackashes. Yeah.
yeah. So the categories are Best Actor,
Yes.
Best Actress, Worst Film, Best Villain, Worst CGI, Best CGI, Best TV Show, and Worst TV Show.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
So, Akash, if you want to start off with our first category, which is Best Actor.
okay. So the nominations for the Jackass for Best Actor are probably one of the greatest actors to ever be in the MCU.
Yeah.
Just of like how long he's been in the MCU, which was a total of maybe around 15 minutes. I think easily the best actor for me is Andrew Garfield.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Of his lifelong commitment to the Marvel Cinematic
The
Universe.
best actor of the MCU Phase 4 is
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to just give some like, I actually like meant it seriously in the sense of when I was just
No,
like
yeah,
going
go
on
ahead.
the films that I liked from Phase 4, and what I was really happy with Andrew is that with the limited amount of time he had on screen, he managed to wrap up a story arc between him and Gwen Stacy, which a lot of people were so critical of Amazing Spider-Man 2. But
Yeah, that's
I
true.
rewatched Amazing Spider-Man 2 after No Way Home, and what No Way Home does is it elevates all of those original movies when you think of what the villains sort of went through and what the Spider-Man did for him. So in that way, No Way Home had like a knock-on effect, and it's sort of like it specifically elevated Amazing Spider-Man 2 for me, and I kind of felt like No Way Home was my Amazing Spider-Man 3 equivalent. Um,
Yeah,
he was the
understandable.
person I was most excited to see, so I just feel like his emotional connection to Peter was really strong, and that's
Yeah.
why I nominated him.
Okay. My nomination is Tom Hiddleston for Loki
Ooh,
because I feel like he had to reinvent a character that he's already reinvented
he is
because
like the
it's a
yeah.
gone.
I'm like he's like the granddaddy of the MCU, man.
He is.
An
He is.
OG.
Yeah. I mean, his character's dead, and now he had to play the same character but completely new again. And when I was thinking about everyone and going through the list when I was looking through these, um, the scene that came to mind was when he found out that Asgard was gone and destroyed,
Mm.
and he's just silently distraught about it. And then when it's brought up with Oh, I can't remember his name in it.
Mobius, Mobius.
Mobius, that's it.
Yeah,
With Mobius, and he's like, yes, all right, sad
very
anyway.
sad. Let's
But
move on.
yeah,
Anyway,
but you know deep down that he's
he's
just broken
hurting.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why he's one of my favorite characters of the MCU, and he's had such a fantastic arc. And if anyone can sort of revive this universe and be probably like the lead and take Robert Downey Jr.'s position, I would 100% be happy for Tom
Yeah,
Hiddleston to
I
do
agree.
that.
I agree. So now comes the tough decision.
Of who gets the award.
Who
So,
gets the award?
drum roll, please.
I
I
can't even do a
think.
drum roll. I'm holding down my input game. My mic getting full.
I I think just to do with the fact that maybe because he spent more than 15 minutes in the MCU, that I'd give the Jackass to Tom Hiddleston. I think
I agree.
you
I
bang on the
agree.
money there.
I agree. I love Andrew Garfield. And you know what? I would have agreed. I do agree, but I would have agreed more if he was given more to do. I feel.
Exactly. Well, Secret Wars, lads.
Yes, yeah,
See
it's
the
true.
last of
It's
him.
true. Who knows? Phase 5. He's coming
Yeah.
for it. The best actor.
Hey. So on to our next category, Best
Yes.
Actress.
Best actress. So my nomination for best actress. I'll be interested if we've got the same one.
Yeah.
But I don't think we do. I don't know. I my best actress, it's for two projects, not just one. And this is for Elizabeth Olsen
Mm.
in WandaVision and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because I think she just portrays the idea of grief so well in WandaVision by just not letting go. It's not even the 5 stages of grief. She's just in denial for the whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, she's portraying a Wanda who's got this perfect life with her kids, and also like this creepy witch. She's not Wanda, she's the Scarlet Witch, and yeah, I just think she knocked it out of the park. And not just in Phase 4, but continually across the entire span of her
Yeah, man.
appearances.
She really
Anyway,
earned her place. She really earned her place in
yeah,
that universe, and we got to
definitely,
grow another. Like,
definitely, yeah,
she wasn't overpowered initially, but she grew with the power, and I think, audiences connected to her over
yeah,
a period
agreed,
of time. So, my nomination for Best Actress for the Jackass was similarly on the grief vein.
yeah,
Um, was Letitia Wright actually for a
okay,
role in
yeah,
in Black Panther. I just felt like she had like an impossible task of stepping up to the mantle, not only as Shuri, but as herself to take over from Chadwick. And it obviously wasn't planned to be that way. And they managed not only to honor Chadwick, but she managed to deliver a performance which carried that movie
mm.
uh,
Yeah, yeah,
into an
no, I
interesting
agree,
superhero film. So yeah, I feel
yeah.
like yeah, it connected with me. That's why I selected her.
And you know what? I did these before I actually saw Wakanda Forever.
Mm.
Um, and as much as Letitia Wright was brilliant, Angela Bassett,
Yeah, well, she was an Oscar nominated
yeah,
actress. So, yeah.
yeah.
Not as good as a Jackass, but yeah.
No, no. Jackass is much better than an Oscar.
She didn't even get
Um,
nominated for a Jackass. Shows how good she
no, she
is.
didn't. She didn't. No.
She's all
But
right.
yeah, I don't know.
No, she's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's a hard one to
They've had some good performances in these
decide. Yeah,
phases. Yeah.
yeah. Um, I don't know. What are you thinking between the two?
I am thinking nothing right now. I'm just pretending to think. Um, I think Letitia connected with me more than Lizzie.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think because it's obviously more raw and
Mm.
real. Yeah,
It
it
carried into
just
the
delivers
film.
a better performance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Agreed.
yeah.
All right. Letitia Wright
She
wins
wins.
Best Actress.
Okie dokie.
Now into a tricky subject. which is worst film.
Hmm.
I'd like
I'm
you to
kind
go
of
first.
I'm kind of thinking we combine best and worst film for some reason, just so we get all the nominations. So,
Okay, yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, that's
but,
good. All right, best and worst film.
mm, we can only have one. So my nominations were best film has got to be Eternals, man. Just
Oh my god.
slapped the most diverse cast in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the comedy by Kumail, and the real emotion delivered by Gemma Chan as a robot. It brought me to tears watching that film. And yeah, for that reason, I just think Eternals is not only one of the best Marvel films of Phase 4, but probably one of the best films of our generation. And you can
Wow.
quote me on that.
I
Yeah.
will. I will in future videos, future podcasts. I will quote you on that. That The Eternals is one of the best films of our generation. And don't
Yes.
quote me on that. Don't take that out of context. Homer Simpson on me.
Yeah.
Um. All right. Well, my best film pick is obviously Thor: Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah. Oh, that was a fart. I don't know if anyone heard that.
It came up so loud.
Did it? Did it? Did you hear
I
that?
thought it was just like his stomach.
Oh, I'm glad you don't have smell-o-vision. Um, sorry, guys.
We're not
Uh,
editing that out, by the way. We're keeping
no,
that
I
in.
won't be. No, be keeping that in. No, but seriously though, my best film pick is Shang-Chi for Phase 4. And
Hmm.
my worst film pick is without a doubt one of the worst films I've seen ever. I had zero expectations and it beat those to death. Is Thor: Love and Thunder. And I'm not even really going to elaborate because
Watch the film.
honestly, watch the film. It is the biggest piece of dog shit I've ever had to sit through.
I think a really great way of actually understanding that film is if you think of the fact that Guardians 3 just came out and the Guardians were absolutely amazing in that. And then you think of the Guardians in Thor: Love and Thunder. I think that just goes to show how you can have amazing characters, but if you don't know what
Yeah,
you're doing with them, you absolutely ruin them.
yeah.
And
But go on.
we picked the
Oh,
same
yeah.
best film. We picked the same. I said Shang-Chi was the best
Oh,
film
really?
actually. Yeah,
Wow.
you know what? I just really liked it. Just like on
Yeah.
his own as
No,
a
yeah, I get that.
standalone film, it just worked for me. And a lot
I
of
don't know why I'm
people have
saying
given it
really
stick.
when it's more. I don't
Yeah,
know why.
yeah.
But
No,
no,
it's
it's
nice that
true.
you chose that.
Okay. So I'm guessing your worst film is The Eternals then.
Yeah, I feel like all right, so if I've like locked you in a basement for around a year,
Yeah.
because I've done it before to Joe, and
Yeah,
the
it's
only
a
you
yeah,
can
it's an
only
annual
have
thing.
yeah, you can only have there's two films, but you can only
Yeah,
watch one on repeat
yeah,
for a year. Like that's the only media you will get. You will be on your
sure.
own. Will you play Eternals or Fall Love and Thunder?
Eternals.
You'll play Eternals.
Without a shadow of a doubt. I can't sit through that shit
You
once
can't
more.
you can't do four.
Nah, never again.
Well, the
I
fact
won't, I will happily say that I will never ever watch it until I die again.
again when he dies again.
Yeah, when
Um,
I die again,
but
because I'm
yeah,
immortal.
you know what? I kind of have to agree because the fact that I tried to put it on for my parents, my mum was like, "Is this getting any better?" I don't like it. I was like, "Mum, like, I wanted you to like love it so I could love it, but it
Yeah,
just didn't work."
it's just terrible. It's
Yeah,
terrible. So I mean, look, best film, obviously, the Jackass for best film goes to Shang-Chi, without a
yeah.
doubt. For me, I'm sorry. I have to stick with Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
Taika, I'm sorry, mate. I know
Sorry.
you were hoping that you
Taika,
were gonna
you
say
did excellently with Ragnarok, but I think that's where you should have left it, to be
it.
honest. You ran out of steam after that, I feel. Um, and I think we need to do its own episode at some point because that
Yeah,
is going to
probably.
be a mean, mean, nasty
We've
episode.
actually, so Joe said he's not going to watch it again. We're just going to do a watch through episode where Joe has to watch it.
If we do a commentary track for it, yeah, all right. I'm going to say it here now. That's going to happen. I know I said I'm never going to watch it, but that is a great idea because I might actually cry and die in the same episode. So I think the Jackass for worst film goes to Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry. Um, okay. I mean, we can bundle these best and worsts
yeah,
in together.
yeah,
I
yeah.
think
We should do best
so. Best
villains.
villain and worst villain.
Well,
So
that's the thing.
Akash.
How you define it? Yeah,
Yeah. What?
a villain's a
Who are
villain.
your nominations? Who's your best villain of Phase
My
Four?
best villain of Phase 4 is the Green Goblin.
No.
That
No.
man. Is he yours?
No. Oh no! I can't believe it. I can't believe that you've fallen into the Marvel trap, the Marvel curse.
The Green Gobbers, what I wrote. The man
I
came back for a
know,
fourth
I know.
Spider-Man film, and
But here's the technicality. Is he an MCU villain though?
he is a Phase 4 villain. That
It's true.
universe is in the Marvel
It's
Cinematic
true.
Universe. It's because
Isn't
you're
it
not used.
crazy that Tom Holland doesn't have a villain in that film technically?
No,
He
I
has
thought
no new
Mysterio was going to come
villains.
back or something like that.
Yeah.
Like at least like
Am I right in thinking that
yeah, they were
that
all other
Sinister
people's
Five, they're
villains.
all other people's
Yeah,
villains?
they are, aren't they? They must be Electro, Sandman, Lizard, Doc Ock,
Yeah, they are.
and Osborn. Yeah, he just doesn't have a villain.
Mysterio should have been in that.
It could have been that. This is a perfect way to. All
As
right,
well,
I'll...
they were going to have America Chavez be the link to get them all
was it?
in that film. She was going to be introduced in that film, which makes so much more sense.
God.
Anyway, sorry. Who's your worst villain?
So I'm stuck between two people. My first worst
I've
villain
got two
was
people.
La Contessa Valentina Allegra della Fontaine, who
Who the
other
fuck is that?
people, she's Madame Hydra.
Oh,
Um, she pops
oh,
up
in
now and
Falcon and
again.
yeah, yeah.
She's
I've
like
seen the
Nick
clips a lot.
Fury, but for the Thunderbolts. But she's just the fact that Joe didn't know who she was when I mentioned her name just goes to show.
I
Uh,
was literally, you can't see me, but I was like, huh? Like my face was just like, oh.
and the second worst villain I had was Kevin Feige.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah,
I
fair enough.
hope you're listening to this, Kevin. Hope it's a
Yeah, Kevin.
wake up call. What a sad
Take
little
that.
life, Kevin.
Take that, you billionaire.
Yeah.
You're
Hope you're
not
all
get you're
happy.
getting a jackass for worst villain.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's the best villain. Maybe he's
Exactly. That's why
the
I'm
best at his
confused.
thing. Yeah.
Villain is a villain.
Yeah.
There's only one villain award. There's only one villain award.
Well, here's mine. And this is a bit controversial, I'm sure, but I really enjoyed the best villain, Arthur Harrow from Moon Knight.
The one that would break up glass and start walking in
Yeah.
sandals and look like
Yeah.
a cult leader.
Yeah.
What was his villainy? What was he trying to achieve?
I can't remember. I don't know. I actually
Why
don't
did you
know.
choose him? Oh yeah.
I don't actually remember what he was trying to do. I think he didn't he have like he was trying to that was it. He was trying to resurrect Amit. Or Amit.
Oh mate.
Yeah.
Been all around
Amit from the Lego movie. The Master Builder.
You said you had
No.
two as well. He was like, oh, the first
Yeah.
one, I don't know why I've chosen him. What about your second one?
No. That's it, the only one I have for best villain. Just because as well, Ethan Hawke, I just think is an incredible actor, and the villain had depth in a sense that I know all villains think they're doing the right thing, but he genuinely just like he thought he was
He had been Moon Knight
entirely
before,
correct.
hadn't he? Yeah, like it.
Yeah,
It was interesting. That's what TV show lends sometimes.
yeah.
You get to go into the
There was
psyche.
there was revenge in there. There was sort of superiority complex. It wasn't insanity, but it was like well thought out
Obsession.
obsession. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But my worst villains, and it's not, it's from the same project. Dracov and Taskmaster from Black Widow.
Dreykov. Is he the Ray Winston from Narnia?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Mr. Beaver.
Way. I'm
Why?
sorry, Ray, but I'm sorry, mate. It just weren't good. He wears
Yo,
fucking aftershave. That means they can't kill him. What is that?
you must
I
need
know
to
it's a
yes
comic
it.
book film, but like it was
Women.
so bad. It was so
Yeah.
bad. Um, but yeah, that's
And then
mine.
you chose someone else. Taskmaster.
Taskmaster. Yeah,
Oh, what's a
yeah,
poor. Why can Taskmaster been Spider-Man? God.
yeah. I know. And be Taskmaster,
Yeah,
not
come
this
on.
weird. And Taskmaster, she does. I don't know. People don't like Taskmaster because it's supposed to be a man. It's fuck off. It don't matter. But the fact that
It's
he
like,
doesn't
do you know what
have
it is like?
superpowers.
It's like getting Deadpool in X-Men Origins to sew his mouth shut and then trying
Yeah,
to
it
make him the
is.
same
It
character.
is.
That was the
Yeah,
exact same. Dreykov's daughter.
Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. It's a different way of doing it. Oh, hello. Sorry, I think it just went off. It's a different way of doing it, but the fact that Taskmaster doesn't have super intellect where they can, you know, copy any fighting style they see.
Yeah.
Um,
There was no
and it's just
charisma.
like a
There was,
memory bank implanted into the back of her head.
yeah.
What? Oh,
Yeah. It's just a bit, meh. It was a bit
yeah.
of a waste. No, I
But
agree.
you know what? For
Why don't
best
we let the
villain.
fans decide? We'll put it in the
Oh my
Q&A. We'll
gosh.
put it in the Q&A,
We'll put
actually.
in the Q&A that no one's gonna.
Yeah. No one's
No,
listening to this.
no.
Except
They
me.
will
I'm
be.
listening to this.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think best villain. I can't betray him. I have to go for Green Goblin. Now you said it. I can't betray him, my boy. I'm sorry. I mean, it's Willem Dafoe at the end of the day. He was having fun while doing it,
Exactly.
and yeah, yeah, I agree. And for worst villain, Kevin Feige. I agree.
Kevin Feige.
Yeah,
He's
we're never
responsible for
getting
all of
invited
it.
to a premiere.
Oh yeah, there's no way we're gonna ever
This is
make it
done.
into
Yeah, we're done. Yeah.
any Marvel related project. But you
No,
know what?
never,
You have to
never.
do it for the
You
people.
maybe you know what they need to fucking realize that the shit they've put out is shit
Oh
currently.
yeah, and
Not
I'm
all of
sure they
it. Not
have.
all of it.
They have in a way that there's not been
Yeah.
any Disney Plus TV shows.
No, no. And I think our next category proves this, and that's best and worst CGI.
Damn.
Yeah. So who wants to say their nominations
I'll say
first?
my,
Go on.
my
Your
nomination.
nominations.
So
Go for it.
for worst CGI, should I start with best?
Go for best. Yeah, go for
Best
best.
CGI, put it hands down in the sense of what film. The reason why I thought this film was one of the best Phase 4 films was because the CGI in Shang-Chi with the fight with the Ten Rings was so visually captivating to me. With the
Yeah.
combination of martial arts, they just were able to add in a lot of color and flair with the rings. And when the rings interlock, it was such awesome imagery. So
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that reason, and I never get like there's a lot of like mystical creatures in it and stuff. But they didn't look like tacky to me. They like it was fun and it worked.
Yeah.
So best
Agreed. Yeah.
best
Yeah.
CGI. Yeah.
Go on. What's your worst one?
Worst CGI put Ant-Man from Phase 5.
Oh shit.
Which I'm going to allow because it was
Okay.
that bad.
That's fair enough.
It managed to intersect into a Phase 4.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. Um, for my best CGI, I didn't put Shang-Chi. I put the Eternals.
You being serious?
Yeah, I actually am.
You watched Eternals?
Yeah, and I think the CGI is actually really solid.
Well,
I'm
Clearly,
not actually
clearly,
joking.
clearly, the CGI helped it be such an amazing story. Because
Oh yeah. No, I'm completely fucking with you. It's Shang-Chi.
oh, good.
Come on. Come on. The look of what was his name? Crow or Cree, whatever his name was. Can't be Cree. Crow, which is played by Bill Skarsgård, complete waste.
No one even knew him.
No,
Why is
you
it
have
all these
fucking
characters he played?
Pennywise in your
Yeah,
film and
no one
you
knows.
hide him under a rock. Anyway, um, but yeah, best CGI Shang-Chi. So the Jackass for best CGI goes to Shang-Chi without a doubt. But worst CGI, I did stick with Phase 4, but I think I'm gonna have to go over to your side. But I said Thor Love and Thunder.
They used the
Because
volume as
it
well, which you thought would
yeah,
be
which is
like,
bad. Like you no, I say it's bad. It's bad when it's used wrong.
yeah, because it could have been
It's
like,
yeah,
you know what?
Mandalorian season one is used well.
I think we got to do a video on the volume actually as a whole because they used
Yeah,
it in
yeah,
Kenobi.
100%.
It feels
Yeah,
very, just to give a bit of a tease, sometimes I feel like
hollow.
yeah, hollow. That's what
I
happens.
know I've said hollow a lot, but the
Hollow.
recent, recent projects have been like that.
Yeah,
But
tough
yeah, for
time.
worst CGI, if we're sticking with Phase 4, then For Love and Thunder for multiple reasons. I mean, it looks like a Hyundai advert or a Volkswagen advert. It
Really
looks
did a high
like
end about it.
silly. Yeah, they
They did
did,
like they
and
did
it
a
actually looks better than the
insurance.
film.
They did that insurance advert in the
Yeah.
UK.
Oh yeah, Direct Line, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, with Letitia
Um,
Wright.
but Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania has some of the fucking worst CGI I've ever seen, honestly. And that's crazy. Speaking about a film from 2023,
But then
insane.
how the hell do you know what it is? It's the fact that in 2015, anytime Ant-Man would shrink, you'd see the outline of his suit every
Yeah,
time, and you
yeah.
really felt like you were tiny. But now, oh man, yeah, I
It's
think
just cut and paste.
I don't even
And you
care.
know
It
the
was that
worst,
bad. It's that
the
bad.
worst
It
bit,
is. Yeah.
the worst one when she when Wasp puts on her costume with the little button, everything's fucking
Janky.
nano. Yeah, and
Someone
it's
said
like
that it looked
like
like a
that.
commercial.
Yeah, but like those old magazines or books where you used to cut out outfits and slide it over like the character on the
Yes,
page.
yes,
It felt like
yes.
that. It felt like someone was like sort of wobbling the like a sheet over the film. It looked really weird, really weird.
God.
But yeah, all right, I'll go with Ant-Man. Sure. Um, all right. I
The
think that's
last
our last
awards.
category.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Best and worst TV show.
Yeah, man.
Oh, this is going to be controversial. I feel
Mm.
this is going to be controversial. I'd like you to go first because I feel
Yeah,
like mine.
no. I like to get cancelled first, please.
Yeah,
So, the best TV show, right off the bat, watched it recently with my dad, Loki. It gave me all the
yeah,
Doctor Who vibes that I was missing, with a bit of it put a character that you love in a completely unique situation in an environment that you hadn't seen them before. So as the character and the audience, you could discover it together and really learn the nuance around the multiverse. And there was stakes, and like you said, you see Tom Hiddleston having to really use his acting chops to portray a character 10 years earlier than what he was used to playing them, and then throw him into a different like scenario. And Richard E. Grant and that whole thing with Asgard and his glorious purpose, it was just it's perfection,
yeah,
man. I think like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's one of the strongest TV shows. Um, yeah,
yeah,
spooky. And I'm excited for season two. It got a
yeah.
season two. How many of these TV shows got a season two?
I know it's crazy.
Loki.
I know.
So
Go on, hit me with it.
what
What's your worst TV show?
my notes, I'm gonna admit it, my notes say worst TV show blank. So I have nothing.
Wow,
I can't
wow.
decide, so that this is up to you because I couldn't think.
Okay. Oh, you're not gonna like me.
You got 4 minutes as
Um,
well to do it.
4 minutes. We've only got 4 minutes. Oh my gosh. All right.
Oh, we can extend the
Uh,
call, so go.
damn. Okay. So best TV show. I've got two because I couldn't decide. So I've got Loki. So we've agreed on that.
Yeah.
And and what if?
Joseph.
And I'll tell you
What?
why. Because it's just personal, personal opinion. But I remember being excited for it each week, and it was something fresh. I feel. Um, Not every episode hit, but not every episode of Loki hit.
Wait, are you saying this is
You
the
know?
best TV show?
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it was the worst TV show. That's
No.
why I was annoyed at you. Oh, best TV show?
No.
Yeah, I
That or
actually,
Loki for
yeah,
me.
no, I think I agree. What If actually, because What If was fresh. I liked What If, and that brings us to the final category, which I said I didn't have a nomination for, but
Worst TV show.
I changed
Worst
my
TV
mind.
show.
I've looked at a note that I made where I said
Oh.
The MCU's tone is no longer grounded in realism. It just feels
Oh.
stupid, inconsistent, lazy. But it's really hard because I did like this TV show for the reason that my boy Daredevil came back. But I've got to
I knew
say,
you were gonna say this.
I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, She-Hulk, you're out.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is not a comment on the actor who plays her because I think she's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's Tatiana Maslany. I might
Yeah,
be
yeah.
butchering that name, but look, oh, do you know what? I've put something different.
What?
I put something, and I can't actually put this, but I watched all of She-Hulk, and people will probably kill me for saying this, probably send me death threats, but I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I
I
did
don't know
think
if
it was fun. You know,
it's the side of me that likes the campiness of that sort of thing. Like her twerking with Megan the Stallion. But for the people who have actually read the comics, I haven't read the She-Hulk comics.
she breaks the fourth wall a lot and is like,
Yeah, and is exactly like she is in the TV show.
you
It's
know what?
exactly the same.
I had not put a worse TV show for that reason. I retract my
Yeah.
statement after
No,
thinking
no, no,
about it. No,
but
because
it is
I
still
enjoyed a lot more than what I didn't enjoy, if you get me. Like,
yeah.
I think
No, I get that.
yeah, the campiness is a thing that people target on, and I don't want to be. I'm going to record the statement now.
No, no, but at the same time, there are parts about it
Edit
that
it
do
all out.
think. But my nomination for worst TV show is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'm sorry.
I'm ending this call. How dare you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I saw two episodes, and that's the reason I put it as worst because I couldn't finish it. It was just I just felt like it
On the
tried to be
nose.
Winter Soldier almost, in the same sort of style
I
and
mean,
theme, and it
you
just
don't
didn't.
like espionage anyway, really, in the Marvel.
No,
Um,
I really enjoyed Winter Soldier.
okay.
Um, I don't enjoy the grounded stuff as much as I do the cosmic stuff. Um, which is why I guess I enjoyed What If and Loki more than stuff like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Hmm.
But then again, even then, I say that, and Phase 4 delves probably the most into the cosmic side of things with the multiverse and that, and it's my least favorite phase of the
Aspect.
whole
So
MCU.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Well, I think
yeah.
we've come at a little bit of a stalemate. So I think what we should do is put this one to the people. We're
All
gonna
right.
make a little
Yeah, we'll put a
Q&A.
poll. We will
Worst
put a
TV
poll out there.
show, and you decide.
You decide. Yeah.
Mum, you decide.
Mum.
Mum's watching this.
Oh wow.
She's the only one that watches our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll just tell
Mum,
her.
please decide. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, I think the Jackashes are officially over for the MCU Phase 4.
Congratulations to all the winners.
Congratulations to all of the winners and I'll start that again. Congratulations to all the winners and commiserations to all the fuck ups of the Phase 4 because you are disgraceful.
Look, there's going to be a time where we just look back on this era of Marvel and we're all going to be laughing
And
because it's
vomit.
just a distant memory. And
I
yeah,
hope so.
well,
I hope so. It will be. It will be. When we're, you know, 80 and we've lost our minds, and I'm just gonna be like in the old people's home and I'll randomly blurt out for love and thunder.
yeah, that's all you're going to remember
They're
is
like, what are you
clips from that
talking about?
film. It's just going to
Yeah.
be stuck in it. The
I'm
goats
gonna
will be
just
stuck in
scream
your
it like the
head.
goats. Oh, don't.
The
That'll
goats are
be on
going
my
in the
deathbed.
thumbnail. Put the goats in the thumbnail.
Oh, they will be in the thumbnail. You heard it here first. And if they're not, I've just forgotten. That's
Yeah.
basically it. But yeah, on that, I've got nothing left.
Mate, I've got nothing left. Fantastic.
Yay.